Hello, friends. Firstly, a big apology for taking so long to upload the second episode. I've had connectivity problems with my internet in the last week to 10 days, which I've battled to overcome. So here I am with the second episode of my book. If you haven't caught the first episode, I'll leave a link to it, and you can just click on that and listen to that one first, and then we'll go on with the second episode. I do hope you enjoyed the first one. It's raw, it's written from my heart, and it wasn't easy to write. So I do hope that it does help somebody who listens to it and brings comfort and hope to others who are suffering from depression. So let's go ahead now and get into the second episode. Chapter 2. Strangely, even though I'm battling with insomnia, my bed has become my safe place, my haven. As much as I detest lying awake at night feeling so alone, I seem to have developed a type of love-hate relationship with my bed. When I'm at home, I find myself drawn to it, looking forward to getting into it. I walk around the house knowing there's a lot I could be doing. I could tidy some cupboards. I've got some sewing I could do. Plenty of chores waiting to be done. Or maybe I could just do something enjoyable and relaxing, like watching a movie or reading a book. I walk down the passage and into my bedroom. I glance towards my bed. It seems so inviting and comforting, and I'm so very, very tired. I'm being drawn towards the bed. It feels almost like a magnet, like a drug. I know that I'll feel better if I can just crawl in for a while, have a little sleep, and escape my thoughts. I give in to the temptation. I get under the duvet and I close my eyes. I'm not asleep, but somehow the rest of the world doesn't seem as scary anymore. I can even pretend it doesn't exist for a while. I'll have a short rest, and I'm sure I'll feel much better when I get up, I tell myself. And then I can tackle some of those chores that I've been putting off. Maybe I'll even go for a walk. Everyone tells me that exercise is so good for me, or maybe I'll ring a friend. I'll do something positive when I've had this rest. Sometimes when I'm out, I find myself wishing I was at home, tucked up in my bed. Often I make an excuse to go home early, blaming my early departure on a headache, sometimes even convincing myself that I don't feel well. And it would do me the world of good to have an early night. It's amazing how convincing one can be to oneself. At least at night, it's easier to get away from people and hide in my bed. It's not so easy to pull the wool over their eyes during the day. Hiding away has become more and more difficult to explain. It has taken me a while to realize what I thought was normal insomnia and daytime fatigue is so much more. My doctor had inquired often if I felt tired during the day or if I battled to sleep at night, hinting that I might be suffering from depression. But that couldn't be the case with me. What did I have to be depressed about? Good grief, some poor people had terrible lives. I had nothing to complain about. I just needed to get back into a good sleeping cycle and I'd be fine. If he just prescribed me some sleeping tablets, I'm sure that would work. But I'm not fine. Other symptoms have started rearing their heads, cementing the diagnosis of depression. But probably the worst of all these symptoms is the intense fatigue during the day. And the second most prevalent sign is counting my blessings. Now, that probably sounds strange, but it was a huge sign for me. I constantly count my blessings, I wrote. One might think there's nothing wrong with that, but it's actually human nature to take most good fortune in our lives for granted, not telling ourselves how lucky we are all the time. I know the minute I start reprimanding myself for being ungrateful and dissatisfied with my life, that trouble is on the way. It's become my sign, my warning of what is to come. Don't be such a brat, I tell myself. You've got family and friends who love you. You've got a job. You've even got children that so many women just wish for. I tell myself over and over. But the black monster is imminent. In my book, I capitalize the word monster. The reason for this is because to me it feels like a living, breathing thing. A being, a presence, a demon, something with enormous power over me. Psychologists call it depression. Chapter 3. I've become the master of deception, lying to people more and more. When my friends and family phone me to invite me out, I make up excuses for why I can't go. I say I've already got plans to go elsewhere. I say I'm feeling a bit fluey. I've got a task to finish, anything to get out of going out amongst happy, cheerful people and pretending that I'm one of them. Laughing at all their jokes and even making some of my own jokes, but feeling so lonely inside. Well-meaning friends say I should go out as much as possible. Be amongst other people. Keep occupied, they say. Try to think of something else. None of them realize I'm actually lonelier in a crowded room than I am at home on my own. At least at home I know what to expect, and I don't have to watch what seems to be the whole world full of laughing, loving, joking, talking, happy people. I don't have to pretend to be one of them. I'm not one of them. I feel like I never will be one of them. I'm different for some cruel, cruel reason. I feel jealous of their happiness. I wish I could have some of it. Sometimes I even feel a bit resentful about the joy other people have in their lives. I know that I'm a good person. I'm kind. I'm thoughtful. I try to do my bit for my community. I care for others. Why do others always get the good luck? Yes, I call it luck because it feels more and more like luck to me every day. It's taken me many years to realize that people who love us obviously don't leave us in our misery pit when they can see that we're having a down day. But at the time, it is so difficult to make anyone understand that it requires just too much energy and effort to get up and go out and look happy. I don't know what advice to give to loved ones and friends of depression sufferers. It is so hard to know what works for each individual. It is such a fine line between respecting the depressed person, doesn't want to do anything but lie on their bed, and encouraging them to get up and get back into the real world. My sister was my rock in the darkest times of my depression. She would just sit on the end of my bed and allow me to cry and complain and talk. And then she would make a gentle suggestion, something that didn't take too much energy, and coax me out of bed and into the shower. My haven at that acute time of my depression became her home. Perhaps that is the answer. Find somewhere apart from your bed where the depressed person feels safe and take them there. I'm speaking now to the carers, the family, the friends, the people who have to live with somebody who's suffering from depression. Find somewhere where they feel safe and take them there. At least in a safe and comfortable environment, the day can pass a little less painfully. But most importantly, please don't give up on us. If you can just help for that one day, perhaps there's more help available tomorrow, and someone else will step in to help. Please don't give up. Thank you, my dearest sister, for not giving up on me. I acknowledge that it must be extremely tiring living with someone suffering from depression. I actually think the partner, family, and close friends need as much support with this condition as the sufferer does. There need to be support groups for family to attend, so that they also know they are not alone and there are others dealing with this demon who has visited their homes as well. The old saying that a problem shared is a problem halved definitely applies here. Perhaps by talking to others who are dealing with a depressed partner or child, suggestions could be taken on board that could be of assistance. Another huge burden for family to bear is the embarrassment of having someone close to them suffering from depression. At least in a group of people all dealing with the same problem, this embarrassment could be minimized. It's hard for them to admit, but family members are embarrassed by this affliction that has visited their family. They feel they should be able to do something to cure the condition, and they feel helpless. Adding to this embarrassment is the fact that mostly in the depressed person's life, he or she will end up in a psychiatric institution. Say what you like, they are unpleasant places and they smack of insanity. No one wants people to think that there's insanity in the family blood after all. I found something that helped. Alcohol. Not a good idea. Yes, it gives a temporary respite from anxiety and feelings of sadness, but take my word for it. When those feelings come back, and they do, they come back tenfold. I used to party with my girlfriends, my lady friends, at their homes or at mine. It always involved lots of drinking and superficial conversation. I knew only two types of conversation when I was hurting: superficial, intoxicated rubbish, or me. The more I drank, the more the conversation focused on me. And as we all know, friends can only stand the me conversation so long. As much as they say they are your good friends, and they probably are, there are very few friends who don't get tired of a never-ending long face and a victim-like attitude. You just know they are thinking enough is enough. You know they're thinking snap out of it. Good grief, you're no fun to be around anymore. After nights like that, the mornings consisted of a good laugh about the night before and some strong coffee and headache pills. This was so much easier than thinking about what my life was really like. My life an empty, scary, dark place from which I could find no escape. But please allow me to add, this type of support is not all bad. It's not always necessary to talk about your feelings. Sometimes you may want to talk, and other times maybe not. It takes a good friend to recognize the right time. Chapter 5. Life goes on, as did mine. Some days were good, others bad. I wish I had written down every episode of depression I'd ever experienced over the last 20 odd years. And at least I may have been able to make some sort of sense out of it and find some pattern. I feel like I've spent my whole adult life wishing to be normal like everyone else, not even ecstatically happy, just normal. At the time of starting to write this, I'm 47 years old, and I've been divorced for a year and a half. By the way, that was a while ago. I'm not 47 anymore. back to the book. I hate being on my own. I hear other women talking about the newfound freedom they're enjoying. I don't feel that freedom at all. I feel lonely, I feel unloved, and I feel trapped by this disease they call depression. Is there no light at the end of the tunnel for me? Please, please, someone help me. I hope you enjoyed and found some comfort in this episode, and we will continue next week. And please let me take this opportunity to say that if you have any of these feelings, please get some help. It's really, really not necessary to suffer on your own. It's not necessary to be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. There's so many people that suffer from depression. There's no stigma attached to it. There used to be. In the old days, it smacked of insanity, as I just mentioned. No longer. There's no stigma attached anymore. You can reach out, even if it's just your family doctor. Tell him or her how you feel and ask for a referral or some advice somewhere where you can get some help. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.